Okay. Vikings-Cardinals tomorrow afternoon from the desert. Is it over? Is it over before it even really began? That seems to be the prevailing wisdom out there. You know, most of the fans, most of the media, not all of them, but most of them seem to be, they've gone into their instant doomsaying of the season is over because we lost one game. Granted, it's to a team we should have beaten, but hey, season's over. There's no coming back from a week one loss. No 0-1 team has ever done anything. They've never won a division or made the playoffs or made the Super Bowl or anything. They've never done anything. 0-1 means your season is over. That's what these people want to believe. Obviously, you'd rather be going into this game 1-0. Like I don't think they're coming in from a position of like they're not playing with house money or anything. I mean, I thought they'd start 1-1 this season, but I thought they'd beat the Bengals and then lose to the Cardinals. And on the surface, it looks like, well, how the fuck could they possibly beat the Cardinals? Because the Cardinals blew out the Titans in Tennessee last week, and the Vikings, of course, committed penalties and got screwed by the officials and all this stuff, and got beat by a Bengal team that I don't think is going to prove to be much. So how could we now go into Arizona and win? Well, because it's the fucking NFL. That's why. And it never stops being this way. But I really get annoyed by the people who just either they don't understand or they just refuse to accept that it really is a week-to-week league. And what you saw in week one is not necessarily gonna match with what you see in week two. There are going to be results that come out of this weekend that people are going to look at and be like, how is this possible when this team looked terrible last week, or when this team looked great last week, and now they come out and they lose, or they come out and they win, or whatever, or this player looked terrible and now they look great. That's how it is. It's week to week, and that doesn't mean the Vikings could play a much better game in Arizona than they played in Cincinnati and still lose. That's where the problem lies. And are they going to win? I don't know. Officially, I don't have them winning, but that's just because I didn't have them winning before. And of course, we've got injury stuff. I swear to God, we lose Everson Griffin because he fucking gets in a car accident on the way to training facility, swerving to not hit a deer. I mean, look, I like deer. We get deer around my house all the time. I love deer. They're great animals that we love. They're nice, pleasant, friendly animals. But guess what? You don't have to fucking swerve to. I know you don't want to wreck your cars or nothing like that, but fuck Bambi. We got to win a football game here. He's out in the concussion protocol. Barr's out again. Kendrick's practiced, I think, now. Friday practice. It's not official. He's officially listed as questionable, which usually now means out. Usually, if a guy's questionable, he's not going to play. I don't personally expect they're going to play Kendricks. And then so you're facing Kyler Murray without your top two linebackers. And even Vigil was hurt, I guess, this week. So I don't know. So I think defensively, it's going to be really fucking tough to do this. Hopefully, I mean, we have the talent on offense to compete in a shootout. We've had shootouts in this era. We might have to have another one, and we're gonna need a lot more for the offensive line, no question about it. And of course, everyone's assuming defeat because the Cardinals pass rush really got to the Titans, and now they're coming to face our beleaguered line. Look, we're gonna need more. We can't. You can do what you did last week and still be in a football game with the Bengals. You can't do it. You can't do that shit in Arizona and be in the football game. And look, that was such a crazy game with penalties. That was almost historic. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be anywhere near this kind of fiasco of penalties. Doesn't mean we won't have any penalties, but I don't think it's going to be anything like what we saw in Cincinnati. But it's not just penalties, it's the pass blocking. Are they going to actually block for the fucking guy? Are they going to block for Kirk? Is Bradbury going to play okay? You know, um, how are they going to adapt to you know to what we saw last week and correcting it? Or is it going to be more multiple tight ends? Is it going to be you know different play calls? Like I'm still willing to give Clint Kubiak a shot here because I'm willing to give him a shot. You got to give a guy more than one game anyway, but you got to give him a shot to really call a game when there's not just 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20 every fucking series. And I think when we saw they did much better later in the game when it wasn't they were constantly in 2nd and long, 3rd and long. And of course the game dictated that some, because obviously you're going to be running different plays down 21-7 than 0-0. But I'm thinking and I'm hoping that this offense is ready to have a real explosive game. And they're going to have to, because I don't think you're going to win this game if you don't get into the 30s. I think you're going to have to get in at least into the 30s in points. No turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over last week in reality, but they said we did. But you can't turn it over. You can't have the stupid penalties, the personal foul shit, holding, all this crap. Just, you can't do it because those kill drives. And we can't do it. We can't have that happen. And we got to block better for Dalvin. He had like 61 yards, I think, in Cincinnati. Like, he's got to have more than that. We got to get him up at close to triple digits or in triple digits. We need a big game from Jefferson. We need a big game from everybody. Like, this is a real. I do not believe the season is on the line, because I think we're going to come back home next week in these two games, which everyone else is writing off as guaranteed losses already as well. And I think we're going to play much better because we finally get that home field advantage. So I don't think if we lose to Arizona that it's 0-4 and blow it up. But man, it would sure be nice. It would sure be nice to get this win and come home for the home opener and come home for these two home games 1-1 instead of 0-2 with a late afternoon game for the home opener and probably a bunch of real surly, crabby fans who are just looking for an excuse to just yell and boo and turn on everybody. That's going to be a really unpleasant scene there if we go 0-2 and then maybe struggle early in the Seattle game. But and I'm hoping for a big game from Kirk. It ain't gonna matter what the fuck Kirk does, because the fucking Kirk Cousins radio syndrome people are gonna spin it into a negative no matter what he does. Yeah, they now think Taylor Heineke is this superstar quarterback, and if only we had him instead of Kirk. It's really gonna be this way all season, isn't it? Especially if the season goes bad, where every fucking week, whatever random quarterback has a nice game, they're going to say, "Oh, we should have him instead of Kirk." This is going to be the new thing this year, because Jesus fucking Christ, if you think Kirk Cousins is a worse quarterback in any shape, way, or form than Taylor Heineke, you need a fucking lobotomy. But I'm hoping for a big game from Kirk. Cardinals have a pretty good defense. It's not like they're not otherworldly or anything, but I just think the big thing is you got to have a cleaner game, penalties, cleaner game with pass protection. It's not just it's not just penalties. It's big penalties, big drive altering penalties, and we had a lot of those last week, and we can't really afford to have any of them this week, because we're shorthanded on defense, facing a really tough quarterback, and I wouldn't say it's a hostile environment. I don't think Arizona is known as one of the more tricky road venues. I mean, hell, there'll probably be a lot of Vikings fans in Arizona. Um, but it's you know it's not a do or die game. But man, oh man, it's going to feel really nice if we can go and get that win uh, and come home 1-1 off a nice road win, feeling better about everything than coming in 0-2 and having to face a couple of playoff teams from last year who I think we can beat, especially with like you can't underestimate what the home field advantage is going to mean for this team, and I think we're going to see that. But that's a next week thing and a future weeks thing. For now, we gotta we gotta hunker down, try to get this win in Arizona, and like I said, officially I don't have them winning. I have them playing, losing close. I think I officially picked it like 34-30, something like that. I think it's gonna be something like that. I don't think they're gonna get killed by any means. I don't think they're gonna kill them. I mean, this is gonna be, it's gonna be a fourth quarter game, and god damn it, if these fucking refs come in and fuck us again on some bullshit, I'm gonna be even more irate than I was last week, and I was pretty fucking irate. But, fingers crossed, that's all we can do as fans is just watch and hope. And some of them are hoping for losses because the tank Nazis are back already, and the Fire Zimmer crowd is back, and the Kirk Cousins derangement syndrome people are gravitating towards every other quarterback in the world. But, the true fans are hoping for a win, and, hey, all we can do is watch and pray.